Good morning, brothers and sisters. Oh, sweet Jesus, thank you for waking us up this morning that we may live, love, and serve you another day. Amen. Brothers and sisters, I'm studying again, starting from the beginning of the Bible, and I'm in Exodus. So here we go with the Ten Commandments, brothers and sisters. I don't know if enough of us really ever stop and think about these or meditate on these. I think it's just many Christians, it's just an assumption, that, oh, we know the Ten Commandments, we just kind of assume within ourselves that we follow them, that we do all of them. But I don't know, brothers and sisters. I mean, I include myself in this. Let's check in with the Lord here and see what he has to remind us of, because it's different when you read it out loud, brothers and sisters. Let me tell you, as I read this yesterday. So let's get into this. So this is right before he says, so when he has, Moses has him go to Mount Sinai, he says, but Moses said to the Lord, the people cannot come up to Mount Sinai, for you warned us, saying, set bounds around the mountain and consecrate it. And because he tells them, go down, warn the people, lest they break through the gaze at the Lord, and many of them perish. Because he told them, that they couldn't go all the way. When it says, when the blast of the trumpet sounded long and became louder and louder, Moses spoke, and God answered him by voice. Then the Lord came down upon Mount Sinai on the top of the mountain, and the Lord called Moses to the top of the mountain, and Moses went up. So Moses was allowed to go up there. Then the Lord said to him, away, get down, and then come up, you and Aaron with you. But do not let the priests and the people break through to come up to the Lord, lest he break out against them. So the Lord has some parameters there. He's got some boundaries. He says, I will allow you and Aaron, but not the other people. Because if they do come up, then they will perish. He's letting them know, look, I'm a holy God, and only the ones that right now that I deem worthy can come up, and not the others. So Moses went down to the people and spoke to them. So he warns them. And God spoke all these words, saying, so now after he sets his boundaries and he lets Moses know, okay, you can come and Aaron, but not anybody else. Then he says, I am the Lord your God, who brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods before me. You notice how he first reminds them, I'm the one who set you free. I did this for you. So then right after that, he says, you shall have no other gods before me, rightfully so. He has the right to demand that. He just freed them from many, many years of oppression, slavery, beatings, you name it. And he says, you shall not make for yourself a carved image and likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down to them nor serve them. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God, visiting the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate me, but showing mercy to thousands, to those who love me and keep my commandments. So you see that? He goes into more detail, this whole thing about idolatry. He goes into detail, and it's very specific. So we don't have any excuse, brothers and sisters. And that statement right there to me says it all. For I, the Lord your God, am a jealous God. Why do we want to upset him if he's a jealous God? By, committing idolatry. By worshiping anything else but him, including ourselves. Then he goes further with this thing. You shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. For the Lord will not hold him guiltless who takes his name in vain. Okay, so he's already clarified here that I'm the one that sets you free. You shouldn't have any other gods before me because I did this for you. Don't carve something else. Don't create something else on your own. Not anywhere, not in the heaven, the earth, in the ocean, nowhere. And he makes it clear that he's jealous, and he says he will visit the iniquity of the fathers upon the children to the third and fourth generations of those who hate him, but he will show mercy to those who love him and keep his commandments. And he continues on to talk about now his name. His name is worthy to be praised, brothers and sisters. He elaborates on that, and that he's not going to hold any man, woman, or child guiltless who takes his name in vain. So, brothers and sisters, if we are Christians, we claim to be followers of Christ, and we say his name in a derogatory, demeaning way, whether it's to attack somebody, whether it's out of anger, whether it's just because we're having a bad day, he doesn't care what your excuse is, what your reason is. We are taking his name in vain, and we don't have the right or authority to do so. He makes it clear, you shall not take the name of the Lord your God in vain. So, and he makes a promise that you will be held accountable for this. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. He continues on. So notice he had a long discussion here, not even a discussion, made some long demands here about who he is, his nature, his character, and that he's jealous. Then he goes on to tell us, remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days you shall labor and do all your work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of the Lord your God. In it you shall do no work, you nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your male servant, nor your female servant, nor your cattle, nor your stranger who is within your gates. For in 6 days the Lord made the heavens and the earth, the sea, and all that is in them, and rested the seventh day. Therefore the Lord blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. He made it holy. So here we see a lot, and I know a lot of people will get upset with this and say, no, I have to work Sundays, or I have to keep my business open Sundays, because if I don't, I won't make enough money to pay my bills. And we understand that, brothers and sisters, but see now what has happened, because the world society, has gotten this way, has gotten greedy, and almost made it necessary. We've made it a necessity. We made it a God to have to now work 7 days a week, many of us, And this was never his intent. He even rested on the seventh day. And so, when the blue law was repealed, I think it was in 1988, or 89, I can't remember, but I know it was the end of the 80s there. I mean, that was a shaking. And I knew when that law was repealed, what that law said was that now businesses could be open on Sundays. Stores, convenient, grocery stores, shopping malls could now be open Sundays. And of course, business owners loved it because they could make more money. But if we again read here, that was not God's intent. And so if we're serious about Jesus, then we should follow his laws and do everything we can now against the grain, against the world as it is, and do everything in our power to rest on the seventh day as much as possible, to honor his word. This is not about me, brothers and sisters. I have no vested interest here except to speak the truth according to the gospel of Jesus Christ. Then he continues on, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which the Lord your God is giving you. And now look at this commandment. He makes it clear to honor your father and mother, that your days may be long upon the land. So it means if you follow this commandment, you're going to do well and live long and well on the earth. You're going to do well during those days that God is giving you. So I take this seriously, brothers and sisters. It's why, even though times when I disagreed with my mother and father, or I didn't feel like saying yes ma'am, no ma'am, it was required in my home, I did so to honor this commandment. So whether we like it or not, they are our father and mother, and we are required to honor them. Then he says, you shall not murder, and that stands alone, as you notice. There's no gray area with that. There's no exceptions. I don't think he felt like he needed to elaborate. He just said, you shall not murder. You shall not kill. He didn't say the exceptions are A, B, C, D, E, whatever. He just said, you shall not murder. Then he says, you shall not commit adultery. Same thing. We will not cheat on him or each other. If you are married, you should stay faithful to your spouse, because it emulates it. It actually is a representation of our marriage to Jesus himself, the bride to the bridegroom. So that one too stands alone. We shouldn't cheat on Jesus Christ by committing over here idolatry, by choosing anything else but him, because he is the one true God. Then he says, you shall not steal. Again, this one stands alone. He doesn't have to elaborate. Don't take something that doesn't belong to you. Anything. It could be a service. It could be a possession. It could be somebody's, spouse. You shall not steal. Then he says, you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. So don't lie. Don't make up things about other people. Don't gossip. Same thing, clear cut. He doesn't have to elaborate on that. You shall not covet your neighbor's house. You shall not covet your neighbor's wife, nor his male servant, nor his female servant, nor his ox, nor his donkey, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Again, not to take anything that is not ours. And even covetousness, I think of, especially when it comes to us parents, trying to covet our children, trying to keep them all to ourselves, not allowing them to be who they need to be. Wanting to, how do they call it? Helicopter parenting, hovering over them constantly, not allowing them to just, make mistakes. Because how are they going to learn without making those mistakes? And we're just supposed to be here, love and support them, especially as they get older. Brothers and sisters, I'm a mom of 4. They're all grown now, so I've raised them. I've been there when they were little, had to show them the way. And then as they got to be teenagers, I had to let them, there were many things I couldn't control. They made their choices, and a lot of them were not good. And it hurt me deeply, but it hurt even them. But I was just there to love and support them anyway, to help them pick up the pieces. So we shall not covet, not our children, not people. We need to love people freely, like Jesus loves us. Love people, to let them make choices, but be there for them, when they fall. So he says, now all the people witnessed the thunderings, the lightning flashes, the sound of the trumpet, and the mountain smoking. And when the people saw it, they trembled and stood afar off. So these are the commandments. And I think many times I focused on them today. The Lord had me, focus on this, because many times as Christians, we really don't. Do we really soak these in and take them to heart? Because when I read this yesterday, I read it out loud. I was reminded, where am I faltering in some of these? Where do I still need to check in with myself? The word also says, take the speck out of your own eye before you take it out of your brother's eye. So if there's some things, brothers and sisters, where you're lacking here as you read through these, that we went through these together, look at that. What is in you, Look at where you're still sinning in some of these areas that maybe before you thought, well, I didn't think what I did was that bad. But now as I read the commandments, it is. Sin is sin. Stealing is stealing. Lying is lying. Adultery is adultery. So, brothers and sisters, I didn't mean this to be a long video, but I think it was important that we we get into these in Exodus, you know, because many times we forget. And I know I have these on the wall in my kitchen as a reminder, again, even daily as I'm in there, of those commandments. Because we're all a work in progress in Jesus Christ, brothers and sisters. So go out there today, make the most of today in Jesus Christ. Get out there, love people into Christ. You know, don't judge them. We're not here to judge. He's the judge. But speak the truth. Speak the truth to a brother or sister. If you see someone at a store that's stealing, do something. Say something. Don't stand back and watch it happen. You know, businesses lose millions of dollars every year because of it. We have to stand up for the truth, brothers and sisters. The bully bullies because no one says anything. You know, the enemy will steal as long as he can get away with it. So let's not stand for that. Stand for the truth in Jesus Christ. I love you, brothers and sisters. Have a beautiful, wonderful day.